Hello everyone. Today we attend the funeral of our old selves. We look a bit different today because one of our long-time followers insisted that we should dress more formal as it will attract more viewers. So, in public, we are going to see, right? Now that all our videos going forward, we'll be looking a bit nicer. Let's see if we get more views. Help us, please share this video to someone who you think is more relevant and who likes men in suits. Anyways, so let's get into the video. Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out Fire Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description. Malaysia, in the first 6 weeks of 2025, has experienced quite a mixed market. Some days you see huge bumps, like some of the tech stocks, of course IPOs, and then especially in the past week or so, we've experienced or we've witnessed quite a few stocks that go close to limit down or LD days, right? One of them, would you say, is Able Global? They didn't limit down, but they were close to.
Yeah, because this is quite I'll say it's a mid-size cap, although it's still like under $1 billion. But it dropped quite a lot in just a single day, and it actually went down about 17%. And back then, there wasn't any much of a news other than just text messages that we get, which is basically related to MACC.
Yes, and then we've had the privilege of being invited into one of their calls, right?
Yes.
And
correct.
so, what can you share from that call?
Okay, so just want to share the chronology, right, on the timeline for each. So the first one is you see that when it tumbles 17%, this is where the rumor start to kick in. This is before the briefing was even like held, right? Then after that, when we joined the call, we found out that the chairman is the one that is got remanded by the MACC, followed by I believe it was his wife, I believe it was Mr. Goh. But this Mr. Goh, there's a lot of people who speculate and they thought that this Mr. Goh, it is the Able Global CEO. So which is false. This Mr. Goh is actually unrelated to Able Global. And what we found out was that the MACC case is actually also not related to Able Global Company. It is just his own personal investment. Correct. It's just his own personal investment. So that's why you can see that from 10:30 a.m. to like 5, there was a rebound already of 7%. Just after that briefing, I believe the briefing took place around like 1:30 p.m. And then it ended quite early, about 2 p.m. But from the briefing, it's quite funny because the CEO basically said that, you know what, now I have to do more job because the executive chairman is not there. So yeah, they have to like reshuffle a lot of things, and then they have to do a lot of stuff. But this is on the 13th of February. So here comes on the 14th, right? What happened was actually, this is from Mumu, by the way. So if you are a Mumu user, make sure to use our referral link and also use our code to get a 40 ringgit cash voucher. So anyway, we found out that the CEO
also got remanded.
Yeah, and the wife of the executive chairman also got remanded.
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah. This news actually spread out quite fast in the morning, actually, before it went down. So I was actually like tracking the share prices also. When it opened, the share price went up to 1 ringgit and 65 cents. Then I believe when this video came out, it tumbled to 151.
Huh.
Yeah. And funny thing is that the CEO also did mention that it has nothing to do with any of the management or himself also that day. But after that, we found out that, hey,
well, you see,
getting remanded?
that's the thing, right? So yes, you can say that, but then how do you know from an investor's point of view that that they are not to say they're lying, but they're not telling the full picture, right? And the thing is, there's a saying, right? If you find one rat coming out of the kitchen, right, how many more rats are there, right? Then you can say, no, that's only one rat that is in the chopping board area, but how do you know the rest don't have or have, right? So I think most investors would be prudent to say, you know what, it's the same thing as the YTL MACC case as well, right? It's not like damaging to the business as a whole, but everybody's just going to be afraid and just stay on the sidelines.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, just like you rightly pointed out about that, and also just to share a little bit on another thing, but this is somewhat like it feels oddly similar to Able Global, but then the Age decided to censor it. We also don't want to speculate whether this is Able Global, but in the article, what they say is that there's two people. A company CEO got arrested for MACC for 2.6 million false claims. And then they also did mention that there's also a woman with that guy that went into the MACC headquarters. So yeah, it is related to a misappropriation and alleged corruption that is related to this case. So feels oddly similar, but we don't know whether this is really Able Global. It could be not. It could be, but we will just leave it as it is. And you also got mentioned that the YTL Power, right? Yeah. So it did went down. However, YTL Corporation managed to clear their MACC, and they also got announced it publicly. And this is also similar to other companies. There's like a few precedents like Lagenda, Prolintas, and also RGB International. So yeah, this one is gonna be taking quite some time before you potentially maybe you see a share price rebound. But this is assuming that, let's say, they manage to clear their MACC case. So for example, like Lagenda, they haven't really announced much of the status on the MACC. So that's why you never see the share price rebounded back to its previous highs. Whereas for Prolintas, they already clarified. That's why it's going back up. RGB also, they clarified. YTL Power, YTL Corporation, they also did clarify. That's why you see there's some sort of rebound. So yeah, we shall see whether Able Global can solve this issue or not. Okay, the second company.
This is a company we've been following for more than a year. We were very excited about Evonik, because Evonik is a US company.
Yes.
But we were unsure about because they're at the beginning of the capex cycle.
Yeah, and they're going to be spending for like 5 years.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Evonik basically told YBS to take on some debt, which is I think related to the government bond debt or something like that. But yeah, yesterday they actually tumbled down 24%. So we don't know what's happening, but we have like a few guesses. So this is what we think. Number one, cost of the earnings seasons is here already. So they're going to be reporting their upcoming quarterly soon. So it could be bad numbers, or potentially they may need more money than expected for Evonik because they want to do like that battery manufacturing plant, right? So maybe they need more capital. It could be that, which means they may need to raise money for Evonik. Or the third issue that what we think is that it probably could be unrelated to Evonik, whereby they may be using the money that they are potentially going to be raising for other businesses other than Evonik. So yeah, it could be either one of these three. So we don't really have much of the information, but when they do announce, then we will know. Now the third company over here, Notion VTech Berhad. So this one is tumbled for 24% also in one day. And what we can roughly guess is probably it's going to be a bad number. And if you guys didn't know, they are going to be diversifying into this aluminium extrusion business. So and also the HDD business was at one point recovering.
This was quite a big shift in tone from I think 1 or 2 quarters ago, right?
Yes, correct. So they were quite optimistic, and they say that their company is quite undervalued.
Yeah, they even gave the PE, right?
Yeah,
it's quite low, basically.
Yep, exactly. So now then we have this.
Yep.
Okay, the next one.
This is the biggest surprise of everything, right?
Yes, Dialog down 17%. And why? Well, it's because they actually announced their very first quarterly loss in history. Since they list, right? They never reported loss, and this is the first time. So what happened was they actually discontinued one of their petrochemical business, which is related to this multi-asset project in BASF, Petronas Chemical. And basically, they're going to be writing off a huge investment, which is about 90.7 million for this particular quarter. So basically, they're doing some kitchen sinking in this quarter. They just want to realize the loss straight away in this quarter. However, the information that also we get from the research team is that their EPCC segment also are facing some sort of like a issue also. So they are kind of like struggling. Potentially the numbers may not be so good in the next few quarters. But yeah, this goes to show that, the petrochemical industry is actually facing at a very tough times already. And the fact that Dialog tried to diversify and go into downstream, it's probably not a wise choice. If you look at hindsight, right? And then they also did mention that, we're going to be focusing more on the midstream, which is just the terminal business. And then what's also interesting is that secretary, which is Miss Zainab Binti, she resigned on the day after they announced their quarterlies. But she still holds some position as a group CFO and also the executive director for Dialog Group Berhad. But we just found it quite interesting. Probably there's some sort of like restructuring in their organization. Potentially, we don't know whether there will be layoffs or not, or probably not. But we shall see if there's any more announcement. Okay, so those are some of the stock that went down more than 50%. Now we look at some of the interesting things, right, that we got from the market. So 3 companies. All 3, they have something in common, which is they diversify their business into money lending. So first we have Revenue, second MMAG, and third we have Empire. So interestingly, all 3 companies are micro cap companies. And why they are doing money lending business? Well, there's actually could be a reason, which is potentially because of the salary hike, right? There's also like a news, I think it was from RHB CEO. Basically, he said that there's a increase in number of personal lending disbursement. So it could mean that
RCA Capital,
yes,
for
correct,
example.
Yeah, correct. So they are meaning more people are getting a personal loan, which is why I think these microcap companies are trying to like tap on this wave, and they are diversifying into this money lending business. But also the Age reported that history has shown that most non-financial institutions that go into this business tend to lose money over the long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the flip side of it. So yeah, the final thoughts we have over here is that potentially maybe there will be more MACC cases will be unfold, because in 2024 there's about 4. Just now we mentioned that few names already. Maybe 2025 potentially there will be we shall see whether there's more or not. Second one is earnings season is here, so which means the investors are more cautious, and they are not really like putting a lot of money at the time being, because they want to see whether numbers are actually backing whatever narrative that they are painting, right? So yeah, and potentially these few weeks will be like very, very dry for the stock market.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the second big thing. Third one is tough times for oil and gas.
Yeah, because
industry.
here, if Dialog loses money,
I mean,
everyone.
Yeah, because Dialog is like the quote unquote the safest.
Yeah, because they make money
renting out their space,
independent of, or much less dependent on oil prices. In fact, one of Dialog Bull told me that they make more money when oil prices are low. Because when oil prices are low, people want to stock up their oil more to wait for the price to go back up. So they need to find a space to stock up or to store their oil, right? Yeah. And Dialog provides that option. All they do is just rent out a space for people to store their oil. So it's very hard to lose money in this business. I'm not saying that they've made a mistake or anything, but I'm just saying that if the market is so bad that Dialog lose money, then it's pretty bad.
Yeah. But also you can argue that because this is just like a accounting treatment only, it's just like
That's
a write-off. So on paper it looks bad, but if you look at their cash flow, it's still quite decent.
Yeah.
But then it still goes to show that they are being quite prudent with their business expansion. Toning down.
They're front loading the pain in this case. So if you are a Dialog bull and if the market noise doesn't really affect you too much, this might be a good opportunity to pick up some shares.
And the final thoughts is over here. The salary hike, which potentially could be translating to more personal loans. So yeah, this I mentioned. This is by Mr. Muazzam. He's the CEO of RHB. Basically, he said that there was a good growth in personal financing disbursement last December, which is also the month of civil servants received their salary hike. So it could mean that when they have more money, then they will get more loan. So yeah, potentially that is also why all the micro cap companies are diversifying into money lending business, which might not be so good also if, let's say, it doesn't improve their earnings. So yeah, that's about it for today's video. Make sure to check out our Fire Pro. Right now, I believe initially we have like a 30% off, but the day you are seeing this is down to 10%. But if you are in already, congratulations. I think we already see like some of our members are actually making a profit already.
Yeah.
Just based on reading like certain news or even like quarterlies. So yeah.
In like less than a week, right?
Yeah, actually it's just a few days only.
Yeah, and I think in February we are going to get, I think FPG is going to go up.
Yes, correct. FPG is going to go up. FPM is just going to be like quite stagnant. TB also is about the same. So yeah, if you are curious about what global stocks that we are invested in and you want to see how we do our analysis on that, make sure to check out FirePro. Is because that's where we actually do our write-ups. We share our analysis on companies, what we think about the management, the numbers, the risks, and also some of the peers that they are potentially like facing at the moment. And also you can see that we have this dividend yield infographic, which is the boring portfolio. So if you want to know what companies are actually giving out like 14.4% dividend yield, you can check it out inside the
And it's quite sustainable.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it.
To get a taste, just check out free sample.
Yes.
All right, links in the comments and description. And with that, guys, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.